It took me a really long time to articulate what it was about Warframe that was driving me away from it so much. Hello, all my fellow godlies and Warframe enthusiasts around the world. I am Vance from the popular Warframe God Build series, and today I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about a very troubling topic within Warframe. And that is this little thing that content creators have been calling content islands. And the TLDR about this is they're just updates like Plains of Eidolon, Fortuna, Railjack, and most recently Deimos that have their own resources, their own drops, their own everything. So by the time you get finished with these content patches, you have no incentive to ever touch them ever again. And that's kind of the problem moving forward with Warframe. I know that in past months I've praised Warframe and I've praised Digital Extremes for doing a job well done, and I won't remove myself from that stance. I still believe that they've done a really good job, and moving forward they're still doing a good job, especially working through the pandemic as vigilant as they have. But that is not without problems, because the problems that they had were still problems even before the pandemic shook all of our lives as much as it did. Deimos was always going to be a thing, and it was always going to be a content island for sure. So we need to address that. Moving forward, I don't think that Warframe is just going to die anytime soon. I think that if it does happen, it's going to be slow and painful, and the devs are just going to watch as the population dwindles away into nothing. There are a lot of good games on the rise, some of which, like Lost Ark coming to the West, and Outriders that I'm personally interested in. So in the event that these games come out, Warframe's going to lose some attention. And I would like to see Warframe prosper as well as they've been able to do for, the past decade. So what I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to suggest a potential solution to this problem, and I'm going to kill 3 birds with 1 stone. We're going to talk about the 8-player raids, the content islands, and resources. So the biggest issue, and one of the issues that I put out in an earlier video I did about a Dojo update, was the fact that you are literally, quite literally, punished for having more friends and a bigger community. If you have 10 people that you're close with and you form a clan, no big deal. Everyone can afford decorations and build rooms and all that stuff. But then as you start moving up the tier list, the resources that you have to put into decorations start to double and triple, and it just becomes really bullshit if you're in a bigger clan. There's no reason for it. There's no reason why decorations should need huge contributions, and that's the TLDR on that video that I made. And I still firmly believe that decorations need to be dealt with. They need to be addressed, because why would you hinder people's creativity? If you're in a really big clan, and chances are you've got 1, 2, maybe 10 artists that really want to work with this. So if you are watching this video, keep in mind that I'm looking for interior decorators. So find a way to get into contact with me, and I might recruit you in to help me out with the designing of my dojo. That being said, YouTube's algorithms are straight up broken. So it always helps if you like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel and all the videos, because YouTube's in a bad place right now. So moving on ahead with the video and the topic, I think that a surefire fix to the game would definitely be to address the resource drops. Make it be the same universal across the board. So one of the 2 options is to just eliminate the high cost factor in decorations, or make it so smaller clans still have to pay the same amount as bigger clans, which would make realistically, the more it make more sense, because the true end game, as they've been saying for years now, is like Space Barbie or Fashion Frame, and that the same could be said about clan dojos. If you want to build for the long run and you want to build a big dojo and you want to articulate every room imaginable with decorations, then that's probably going to be the late game for a lot of these guys who devote time into grinding. And I think that, like, with me having to support my clan personally, I just diminished my personal funds for Polymer Bundle. And so as the Railjack was coming out and Deimos was coming out, there was nothing that dropped Polymer Bundle. And so I was just needlessly playing these modes and acquiring whatever I needed to acquire from these content islands, and then I wouldn't play these things ever again because I had no reason to. So I think that a really good potential solution for this would be to introduce a map similar in size, like smaller, a little bit smaller than Deimos, and have it just be an asteroid. So this lobby would show 8 players, but would really be split into 2 different games. One would be orchestrated by the Railjack crew, just warding off hordes and hordes of reinforcements, maybe even, I don't know, taking down a Fomorian, some type of boss battle, some type of big incursion event, sentient ships, I don't know. That's up for debate. But then the other lobby would be using the squad link to actually call down excavators from the Railjack. So they'd be on the surface of the meteorite harvesting specific resources. And when I say specific resources, I mean like doing something revolutionary. I mean like hovering over the mission and deciding which resource everyone wants to grind for. Think about it. How amazing would that be? Like, let's say everyone needs to go argon scope farming. Well, you could just pop into a mission and do like 1 excavator and everybody gets an argon crystal. Amazing, right? And if it's in the case of Polymer Bundle, then you get like thousands at a time. No longer are you having to go to like Ophelia Uranus just to farm Polymer Bundle and have like, I don't know, like 4,000 by the time you end, and that's with a resource booster activated. No, you don't have to do that anymore. You just go into like a 8-player, leave whenever you want type of mission, where it just goes on and on and on and on, and you keep playing. And the part of the best thing about Warframe was endless void missions. Like, you needed a key to enter, but that one key would yield so many rewards, so many prime parts, so many blueprints, so many forma. I mean, you just got a variety of things, so it felt very rewarding to stay in there for a bigger amount of time. You could do one huge haul and be done with it. Nowadays, if you go to a content island, you have a standing cap. And I just don't feel, I feel like Digital Extremes is very inconsiderate to the people who have jobs and lives outside of Warframe. I'm not one of those people, but I am speaking for one of those people. Imagine you work 6 days of the week and the only time you have to game is like on a Sunday. That 7th day, you're just completely shot. You want to sit down, you want to relax, you want to grind out whatever content you got to on Warframe. But then you're presented with this fucking asinine standing cap. And it's only put there for people like me who want to grind out this content all within one sitting. They don't want us to grind out this content, but here's the problem. Why are you so into what I'm doing that you're punishing people for what they're not doing? Stop worrying about me. Stop worrying about the lifeless guys who have nothing else better to do with their time, and just let the pieces fall where they may. That's another big issue. You remove the content barriers so that more of the resources fluctuate into places they need to be. So resources going into, Polymer Bundle, going into Deimos and Plains of Eidolon and Fortuna, you let all of these resources kind of blend together, and for the love of God, stop adding resources. We're done with it, we're done with new stuff. We're done with introduction of new, and I know this is on, like, this is right before Nezha Prime is about to release. At the time that I'm recording this, this is right before Nezha Prime is about to release. So they're about to introduce more relics that we've never seen before to prevent us from stockpiling them and then going out and running them. But why? Why do that? Stop debuting all this new stuff. We don't need any of that. You need to really improve on what you've got. There's with all of the suggestions that I've made today, you could definitely work with things that are already in the game, assets that you already have, no problem. I'm sure some of these fixes would take somebody just an afternoon's worth of time to just sit down over a cup of coffee. You just sit down, tweak the game, and adjust it. Boom, fixed. Now, now people don't have to supply nearly as much resources into decorations, so it doesn't stress them out. They don't feel like they need to be playing this game for literal years in order to decorate higher tier clans. It just, the list of recommendations kind of goes on and on. One of the biggest things, especially about the newer stuff that's come out, is the necramechs. They're fun. They are so much fun, but there's no incentive to even really use them at this point because, like, they're slow. They're slow as fuck. If you go out into a free roam map and you've got your friends whizzing around you in arc wings, and you think to yourself, gee, there's this, like, backpack to the necramech, and I didn't know if anybody else realized that, but that seems like the perfect place to attach an arc wing and let us fly around in our necramech. I mean, shit. If I'm thinking about this, then you would think that a professional who's sitting down at like a conference table would stand up and say, like, yeah, I think that players should be able to call down an Arcwing on their necramech. It just seems like the thing to do. That way they don't have to, hold up the rest of the team when they're marching all the way to their destination. And, I'm sure people could argue, oh, well, you can just leave your necramech, get into your Arcwing, go to your destination, and then recall your necramech. Well, in early days when this update first came out, if you did that, your necramech would, when you recalled it, it would start out with less health than full. Never mind the fact that it has a cooldown. You call it once, and then it's like 2 minutes before you can call it down again. So if you're doing bounties in Fortuna, some of these bounties are really, really rapid fire. You start them, you finish them, very, very quick. And so you mean to tell me that you're gonna have to wait that 2 minutes to call down your necramech each time? Come on, stop jerking me around. Like, really, just really. Allow necramechs to be pilotable in Arcwing missions. That would be another fun thing to do. Allow necramechs in railjacks, not inside the ship, but like outside. That'd be really, really fun. Just more open terrain in railjack. I would love to see railjack be in every corner of Warframe. There's not a lot of people that I've ran into that... I would say that it's a fair statement that railjack was one of the most successful updates they ever released. And I've ran into a vast majority of people who love railjack. I've only ran into just a small amount of people who dislike it, and I'm just like, wow, you type of people actually exist? It's crazy. So I'd like to see all of these content islands kind of blend together. And I feel like, eventually they're going to get down that path. They're going to be desperate enough to keep players interested in this game that they're going to have to do that anyways. I just wanted to put it out there so everybody else is thinking about it and maybe talking about it in forums. Because, anytime I complain, it really is for the better of Warframe. Because it still is my favorite free-to-play game of all time, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. It's just, I would really prefer not to get so bored of it so quickly. So, I recorded this video quite a while ago, like I said, just before Nezha Prime was set to release, and now it's November 20th. And the reason for that being is quite simply because I found out that Deimos Arcana was going to come out, and it had the possibility of nullifying everything that I had to rant about, but to my disappointment, it kind of verified everything that I had said previously and added to the list of things that I needed to complain about in this video. So this video is kind of like past me talking with present me, and I know it's a little bit weird, it's a little strange, but that's the way we're rolling. So the new things I have to complain about is the lack of content. Even though this update is, quote unquote, a new update, I would classify this shit as non-content. And it's a big problem because not only are the things still present that I mentioned earlier in this video, but it's made something that was already very repetitive and boring even more repetitive and boring. I love how Digital Extremes markets this as an expansion to the underground. No, it's not. It's not an expansion. I mean, there's like maybe a few rooms in there that are entirely new. All of rooms and all of the objectives that should have launched with the initial launch of Deimos, but they kept from that update for whatever the reason, and it has made the vault runs worse. Maybe not to the devs, but to us, people who actually play the game, it's made the grind longer. So, like if you do ISO vaults, if you do like all three, it's still gonna take you quite a while to do, even before Deimos Arcana. Now what they've done is you go down into an ISO vault, and if it's like the second or the third one, you fight a necramech in one room, then you move on to a different room, fight the second necramech or the third, and then you have to complete objectives before you can find the necroloid to eventually open the vault. Do you know the amount of time that they have additively put into the grind for ISO vaults? Not to mention the additional bounties that come after the ISO vaults. They're only accessible after the ISO vaults. And then when you do those goddamn things, they have like 4 bounties that you have to complete inside of them. At the end of all of these missions, do you know how many hours you have pissed away of your life just to receive non-guaranteed drops? What happened to the days where we could do a quest line similar to that of, I don't know, Grendel? I couldn't think of the name there for a second. That was why I was silent. Grendel. Whatever happened to the days where you could, look at a piece, select that piece, get the blueprint for it, and the blueprint would queue up a mission. You'd go to that mission. It would be challenging as hell, but ultimately very fun and rewarding because it's a challenge, and then you're guaranteed the piece that you're looking for. I feel like if DE is going to go this route, and they're going to make ISO vaults such a grindy piece of shit, then it should come with guaranteed drops. Because the fact of the matter is you're going to do this 1, 2, 3, 10 times, and then you're just fucking done with it. Especially given the fact that there's not enough resources that bleed into the existing content. I am still out of Polymer Bundle, and I need that shit. Would I be incentivized to play Deimos bounties if it had an abundance of Polymer Bundle? Like Polymer Bundle in bulk? Hell yeah, I would. What about Railjack, man? Like, what about mixing that mode? What about having necramechs in Railjack? I mean, there's so many things that are already in the game that they wouldn't have to make content. They could work with what they already have in the game and blend it all together and create really, really awesome experiences. Hell, I'm even interested in Nightwave stuff. Speaking of which, if Digital Extremes just so happens to be watching this video, I would love to make Nightwave stuff for them. I would love a posing tool for Warframe. I'd love to be able to tell my own stories through Warframe assets. There's a lot of amazing things there. There's a lot of tools that you can play with to tweak this game and make it have replay value. I willingly play this game because it's fast-paced, it's frantic. I can kind of just turn my brain off and murder things, and I don't like encountering puzzles. I don't care if that's a unpopular opinion. I know that it's not an unpopular opinion. I know that it's the majority opinion, and that's the one that should matter, is the majority. We all as fans got into this game because it's fast-paced, frantic, kill the shit out of shit left and right, front and center. You know, we get to be deities. We get to be like gods and, you know, rule the cosmos. It's crazy. It's such a high potential game, and the only reason why I'm so hypercritical and upset in most cases is because I know that Digital Extremes can do better than this. I know that they can make a rock solid update. I've seen them do it before. I think like the best one to date was you know, the Second Dream. That was like such a whole like compact little island that everybody felt good about when it came out. I didn't like the Deadlock Protocol. Matter of fact, I hated it. I thought it was like the most grindy, stupid thing, and then Deimos Arcana comes out, and I was like, wow, I didn't think I could get any more disappointed with a Warframe update. And then you have Railjack. That was an amazing update. It's like, sometimes they hit home runs, sometimes they just completely flunk. And with this recent update, they completely flunked. And I'm not saying that from a place of hatred. I'm saying that from a place of love. I love Warframe. It's my favorite game. I'll likely never quit. As a result of this update, I can guarantee you right now I will be taking a break. I've been playing a lot of Gears 5, and I'll probably return to Gears 5 because this update sucks, you know? And maybe we can blame it on the pandemic. I don't know. That's wishful thinking. To think that, you know, the pandemic has really set back some of these updates and made it a little less enjoyable. But I see myself running into a hard wall with Warframe because I've already fallen back with weapons. I was not a fan of modular stuff, especially like K drives. Not a lot of them are worth it, so why would you want to go like, unless you're just mastery grinding, and that's a chore. I don't feel like so much stuff in Warframe should feel like a chore. If you keep adding content that people play through once and never touch again, eventually you just push yourself into a corner where your game is full of content that people will play through once and never touch again. I would think that the goal is to make something that people want to revisit over and over again. Railjack is something that I want to revisit over and over again, but I have no incentive to do so because I have everything from it. There's nothing else that I could acquire from it. Eidolon hunting is something that I go and do regularly. It's got replay value to it. The arcanes are rare. I really wish that they would bump that up and make it so some of the rarer ones would drop more frequently because it's very time consuming. Plus, it's time locked. You have to wait like every other hour and a half, and I don't think Digital Extremes has considered the fact that the day-night cycle is limitless in real life. Earth is constantly experiencing day somewhere. Meanwhile, the other part of Earth is experiencing night. So we should, in theory, be able to hunt Eidolon 24/7, no matter what. Kind of like we can do Exploiter Orb and the other one that I can't really think about right now. But you get what I'm saying. You understand. So that's all I have to say. If you agree with this video or you liked it, just hit like, share, comment, subscribe, do everything I always encourage you to do. And until next time, this has been Vance signing out. Peace.